What is up there everyone, it's the guy with no gamer tech here, and today I want to talk about improving your situational awareness in Battlefield. Now I'll admit straight away there is no magic formula or any particular way to actually do this. It's sort of more of a conscious thing you have to do in game. Now in this particular gameplay you're seeing in the background, I'm using a Mark 11 DMR. I've got a suppressor on it, an ACOG scope. That isn't particularly important, that's just how I chose to run this weapon. And at this point I'm playing a game of Chainlink and my team is now pushing up to where the enemy's objectives are. They've currently got quite a few flags chained together and my team is now on an assault to try and capture those flags. I already know with a designated marksman rifle that I need to stick back, so that is immediately what I do because I know that this gun isn't going to perform quite so well in close quarters, and also I can't constantly rely on my aim because it's a little bit inconsistent. So I stuck back and I found some cover that I could take on enemies at a distance because that was where my weapon would perform the best. Now in this particular position I have a good line of sight over the enemies. I can see that they're already pushing onto the C flag, but immediately I realise that my teammates are taking that C flag and they're contesting it, so I don't need to worry. I immediately spot that actually there's quite a few enemies coming from the front, but I also check the side and I immediately take out that enemy. Once I've taken them out I focus again on the enemies that are directly in front of us because they are launching the main assault on this flag. However, I'm aware that suddenly a lot of my teammates are looking this way and suddenly there's a group of 3 enemies have actually tried to flank us and come around the left side. This is just the main thought process I was going through in this small clip. It's nothing particular that is something you can suddenly do in game. It's something you kind of got to consciously train yourself to do. I don't normally think like this. This was suddenly something that I realised in game. Actually, you know what, I'm going to check the left, what is happening there, and it paid off for me. The enemies were unable to flank around us and they didn't catch us by surprise, and that was very beneficial in my team now pushing up and we're heading towards the Delta flag. And because I'm using a designated marksman rifle, I know I'm not going to be particularly effective in close quarters. I am struggling to hit a few of my shots, so I stick around my teammates because they can provide me with some support, because I know that I'm going to need help in close quarters because I don't quite have the firepower to deal with fully automatic machine guns and assault rifles that I will most likely come across. In general, you've just got to think, what weapon am I using, what map and game mode am I playing on? In this case, I was playing a mostly infantry game mode. It's going to be fast-paced action and the enemies are going to be concentrating their attacks around the flags. So I need to find a good position to actually have an overwatch around those flags, because then I can play my weapon to its strengths and I can take out as many enemies as possible, and that will be the best thing I can do for my team. I am not going to be on the front lines because I cannot rely on my aim to be consistent enough so I can take down that many enemies. Sometimes you've got to analyse your strengths and weaknesses in game. If you know that maybe your aim isn't the best, it might be better to take a slightly slower approach. Playing slower means that you have more time to react, you give yourself a bit of a safety net, and it allows you to have a better chance of winning gunfights and taking on and taking out as many enemies as possible. That is the best thing you can do for your team, is work out what your strengths are and play to those strengths. Although I agree that the amazing plays only happen when you really push and try for them, at the same time if you want to win the game you've got to play to your strengths, and sometimes you've maybe got to leave the amazing plays for another game. You don't have to go for it every game, but if you want to, at the same time go for it. But if you want to win, I would always advise playing to your strengths and working out what is going to be the most beneficial way that you can play for your team. And in working out when enemies are going to flank you, that's sort of a combination of map knowledge and just a conscious train of thought. I'll admit that I still don't do this every game. This was a particular clip where it suddenly clicked in my head and I was actually performing quite well. It's not the most amazing kill streak, but it was definitely a kill streak that helped my team win this game, and it felt really good to realise that this tactical awareness was really paying off. It's something that you've just got to think about. Okay, a lot of my teammates are going straight ahead. I don't need to go straight ahead. What's happening on the left and right of me? In the case of this gameplay, I had 3 enemies suddenly trying to flank us. If I hadn't paid attention to that, they might well have come round and completely massacred my team, which would have then pushed us all the way back to our last 2 flags, which would have been an absolute disaster for my team trying to win the game. However, in this particular case, I did spot them and I thought about where they might be coming from, allowed me to spot them, take them out, and it allowed my team to push up and eventually win this game. But I do hope you found this useful. As a guide, it's not something that's going to suddenly make you a better player, but it's just advice. It's something that I found you need to do consciously. You can't start doing this naturally until you've actually kind of forced yourself to think like this, and it will benefit you in the long run. But anyway, this has been the guy with no gamer tag, and I'll see you on another video.